Breaking news. It is Wednesday, January 28, 2026. And right now, as we speak, Ukrainian forces are engaged in a desperate, high-stakes defense of the village of Dronivka.
It's against a brutal, relentless Russian assault. The reports we're seeing they're just intense.
So intense. We're talking river crossings under heavy fire, infiltration tactics that, frankly, sound insane.
And a level of combat we really haven't seen in this particular sector for months. It's a critical moment.
It really is. I mean, if Dronivka falls, the implications for the city of Seversk and that whole northern defense line are, well, they're severe.
This isn't just another skirmish. This is a pivotal point in the winter campaign.
And before we get into the grid of it, I just have one request for everyone listening. If you stand with Ukraine, if you want the truth about what is happening on the front lines, please hit that subscribe button for Defense Report.
It makes a huge difference.
We are your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We need you with us.
Absolutely. I mean, the signal-to-noise ratio out there is getting worse, and we're here to cut through it.
I'm Alex. Join me with Aria in the latest podcast by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments, and today. Today, we're going to cover some truly terrifying evolutions in this war.
We have a lot to unpack, and honestly, some of this stuff, it reads like a dystopian novel.
It really does. First, we're looking at these desperate Russian attempts to cross the Seversky Donets River.
Yeah, not with tanks this time.
No, with rubber boats and infiltrators disguised in civilian clothes. Then there's this terrifying technological shift. Russian BM-35 drones have now been found equipped with Starlink terminals.
Which, effectively makes them invisible to electronic warfare. It's a complete game changer.
A huge one. And that leads to the kill switch controversy, why experts are now demanding an emergency shutoff for Elon Musk's satellites over these occupied zones.
Plus, we have to talk about the sting.
Oh, I can't wait for that part. A Ukrainian interceptor drone hunting down a jet-powered Russian drone in a dogfight.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's happening. It's the new reality of aerial warfare.
It is. So, our mission today is simple. We are taking a stack of reports, intel assessments, and field updates to separate the signal from the noise. Let's get into it.
Let's start on the ground. The battle for Dronivka.
Okay, so, segment 1. Let's set the scene. Why this tiny village? Why has Dronivka suddenly become the central operational center of gravity?
Well, you have to look at the geography. It sits right on the Seversky Donets River.
Right.
And that river has, for years, been the wall. It's the massive natural barrier that has really defined the front line here.
A wall that the Russians are now trying to climb over. The reports we're seeing from the 81st Separate Airmobile Brigade, these are the air assault guys holding the line, they say the Russian 7th Rapid Response Corps is throwing absolutely everything at this one crossing point.
They are. They're pushing from the Serebryansk forestry area, which is dense, difficult terrain. It gives them cover right up to the riverbank.
But this isn't like before, is it? I mean, I remember May 2022, same area, they tried a massive armored crossing.
A catastrophe for them. Ukrainian artillery just wiped out an entire battalion tactical group.
Dozens of tanks, hundreds of men, just gone.
That was the old Russian army. What we're seeing now at Dronivka is... It's disturbing in a different way. They're not using tanks.
They're using motorized inflatable rubber boats. It sounds almost desperate.
It is desperate, but it's also a tactical adaptation. They know a big pontoon bridge gets spotted and blown up in 5 minutes. So instead, they're sending these small fire teams.
4 or 5 guys in a fast boat.
Exactly. Trying to infiltrate, not invade. They just want to get a toehold on the other bank before anyone really notices.
And the level of deception, that's ramped up too. The reports from nearby Zarikne are just shocking. Russian soldiers spotted in civilian clothes.
Not just civilian clothes.
Slippers. In January. In Ukraine. That sounds insane.
It sounds ludicrous, but think about the goal. You're a drone operator, you see a guy in camo, you drop a grenade. But you see a guy in a tracksuit and slippers. You hesitate. And that hesitation is what they're banking on. It's a war crime, plain and simple, but it shows you their priority is infiltration.
That's terrifying for the civilians still there. You become human camouflage. So how is the 81st holding up against this?
They're adapting fast. Just yesterday, a Russian assault group tried to cross in one of these boats. A drone unit from the 81st spotted them mid-river, destroyed the entire group right at the moment of landing. They never even made it to the bank.
So they're watching the water 24/7.
They have to. The situation is described as tense but controlled, but the pressure is immense.
Yeah.
The Russians are trying to encircle Seversk from 3 directions.
There's that phrase going around now, isn't there?
See Seversk and die. It paints a very grim picture of the attrition rate.
So it shows a degradation in their heavy equipment, but an increase in insidiousness. They're moving like ghosts.
Ghosts in slippers. It's a haunting image.
It is. But while this is happening on the ground, the war in the sky is taking a leap that I don't think anyone was really prepared for.
No. This is the technological shift that keeps experts up at night.
Let's move to segment 2, the Starlink threat. We've had rumors for weeks, but this is hard confirmation now.
We do. On January 15, Ukrainian specialists recovered the wreckage of a downed Russian BM-35 kamikaze drone.
And inside...
They found a Starlink terminal.
A Starlink inside a Russian suicide drone. This was confirmed by Serhiy Flash Voskresnov, right? The radio tech expert.
Correct. And his assessment is chilling. This allows for real-time control over distances of up to 500 kilometers.
Okay, let's pause here because this is really important. Why does shoving a Starlink dish inside a drone change the game so much?
It changes the physics of electronic warfare, or EW.
How so?
Normally, you stop a drone with a jammer on a truck.
Yeah.
It blasts radio noise out toward the horizon. It's a horizontal line-of-sight thing.
Right, you sever that link.
But Starlink doesn't look at the horizon. It looks up. It sends a narrow, high-frequency beam straight up to a satellite in low Earth orbit.
So a jamming truck on the ground it can't jam a signal that's beaming vertically into space?
It's physically almost impossible with standard gear. The experts are calling these drones almost invulnerable to standard EW.
Wow. And that means the drone isn't just flying to a preset GPS coordinate anymore.
No, it can be flown manually, like a huge, long-range FPV drone. The operator sits safely, hundreds of kilometers away, looks through the camera in real time.
And hunts. They can see air defenses and fly around them. They can chase a moving convoy.
Exactly. It's a massive escalation capability.
Yeah.
And we've already seen it in action.
The strike on Dnipro just days ago.
January 26. Dnipro is 86 kilometers from the front line. That was the first recorded deep strike using this tech.
And that puts everything at risk. Helicopter bases, power plants, ammo depots. The safe rear is gone.
The whole country becomes the front line.
And what about the drone itself, the BM-35? Is this some cutting-edge Russian tech?
Not at all. That's the irony. It's a plywood and foam delta wing, powered by what's basically a lawnmower engine.
A hobby kit.
But inside, they found 41 foreign components from the U.S., Switzerland, Taiwan.
So after years of sanctions, the supply chain is still leaking.
Like a sieve.
Oh.
So you have a cheap garage-built plane filled with Western chips, controlled by American satellites, striking deep into Ukraine.
A cheap drone that's immune to jamming. This is a crisis point. Which brings us to segment 3, the countermeasures.
How do you stop it?
The obvious question everyone is asking online is the kill switch. Why can't they just turn them off?
It's the big question. Aviation expert Valery Romanenko is arguing that it's the only real solution. He's saying Ukraine has to coordinate with the U.S. to force a geofenced kill switch on the Starlink network.
So if a terminal lights up in a Russian-occupied area or starts moving at drone speeds, the system just bricks it.
Exactly. The logic is sound. Romanenko says without that, we're in big trouble because jamming from the ground is a technical nightmare.
Right. But until the politicians and tech billionaires figure that out, what's the physical defense? Just shoot them down.
Kinetic solutions, yep. You've still got the Gepard anti-aircraft guns, the mobile fire groups with machine guns.
Yeah.
But you can't have a Gepard on every street corner.
But Ukraine is innovating too. We teased it earlier. The Sting.
Oh, this is fascinating. This is the offense-defense race in real time. The Wild Hornets, a Ukrainian developer group, released footage
of their Sting interceptor drone hunting a Russian drone.
And not just any drone, a jet-powered Russian Shahed.
Yeah.
And get this, the Shahed was armed with an R-60 air-to-air missile.
Wait, a suicide drone was carrying a missile to shoot down other drones?
Yes, it's a dogfight. Robot versus robot. They're trying to make their attack drones defend themselves.
And the Sting won.
The Sting won. It rammed the Russian jet drone and took it out. It's an incredible proof of concept.
We're watching the future of warfare unfold. It's automated hunters fighting automated bombers.
And the Russians are adapting in other ways, too, the mothership concept.
Right. What is that exactly?
They're using larger drones, like the Molnia, as airborne signal repeaters. It flies high up and beams signals down to swarms of smaller FPV drones.
Extending the range of the whole swarm.
It creates a mesh network, letting those little killer drones strike deeper than ever before. It's all about complexity and connectivity now.
Okay, let's zoom out. Segment 4, the strategic picture. Why is all this happening right now? Why this sudden intensity at Dronivka in late January?
You have to connect the dots between the humanitarian situation and the diplomatic moves. First, Russia is executing what's being called the Energy Island strategy.
Energy Island, that doesn't sound good.
It's brutal. They're targeting the grid to cut off entire regions, make them islands of darkness in the middle of winter when it's minus 10 Celsius.
Trying to break the will of the civilian population?
And then you have the diplomatic pressure. There were talks in Abu Dhabi just a few days ago.
Right, January 23rd and 24th. Ukraine, the U.S., and Russia.
And what we're hearing from those talks gives us a huge clue about why Dronivka is burning. The Russians have a new demand. They call it the anchorage formula.
Okay, what is that?
It's a hard line. Russia is demanding Ukraine cede all of the Donbas region. And here's the kicker, even the parts they don't currently occupy.
Wait, they want Ukraine to just hand over cities that the Russian army hasn't been able to take in 4 years of fighting.
Exactly. And that explains the desperation at Dronivka.
I see. If they can't get it at the negotiating table, they have to take it on the ground before any potential deal is signed.
Correct. They're throwing men into the meat grinder to seize that territory militarily, to strengthen their leverage. Every meter of ground is a bargaining chip.
So every soldier in those rubber boats, every guy in slippers sneaking through the woods, they're dying to improve a negotiating position.
That's the tragic reality of it.
And can Russia even sustain this? There have to be cracks showing up in their economy.
Oh, there are. Inflation is spiking. Eggs, fuel, basic goods, they just raised their VAT to 22%.
That hits every single regular person.
It does. And they're desperate for technical manpower. They're actively recruiting at universities, trying to find kids to operate these drones for their new unmanned systems forces.
It's a race against time, a race against economics, and a race against technology.
Both sides, absolutely.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've covered a massive amount of ground. We've seen the incredible resilience of the 81st Brigade at Dronivka.
Stopping those boats, holding that line, is heroic.
And we've analyzed this urgent need for a solution to the Starlink-equipped drones. This kill switch problem has to be solved.
While at the same time seeing Ukraine fight back with incredible innovation like the Sting interceptor.
But the image that just sticks with me is the contrast. The soldier in slippers in the freezing mud and the drone operator in a warm room 500 kilometers away.
It is jarring. And that's the thought I want to leave everyone with today. We are seeing a war where soldiers in cheap civilian slippers cross freezing rivers on rubber boats.
A World War I style battle.
Yeah. And directly above their heads, drones controlled via American satellites are fighting dogfights with AI-assisted interceptors.
It's a paradox. Two different wars happening in the exact same space.
It is. And you have to ask, as this technology accelerates, is the gap between the high-tech rear and the brutal low-tech front line becoming insurmountable? Can the high-tech solutions actually save the men in the mud?
That is the question that defines modern conflict. It's the future happening right now.
Indeed. And it's why understanding all these layers is so vital.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Arya, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
And remember, staying informed is the first step in understanding the reality on the ground.
If you found this deep dive valuable, if you want to support truth in reporting on this war, please hit that subscribe button.
Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports.
We'll catch you next time. Stay safe.